Hello, I am once again drawing. Oh, I gotta readjust my screens. Okay. Right, that's what I was doing. I was trying to get this clock in the back to look proper. Okay. Right. Okay, because I'd drawn it. And then I hated it. So that's where kind of we're at right now. This is the only thing that was salvaged. Oof, okay. So my plan is to make a sketch that's not dog shit, so I can render it properly. Got my million references on the side. Let me also flatten this out a little more. I kind of hate that I did it on this layer. Can I move this stuff? What's all this? I see. Okay. That can go like that. I need to just start merging things. There's like, I have too many layers. There's too much stuff happening. Everything is messy. Okay, that's that. So we're just gonna move that down. This is like messier even than like my usual. Okay, I like this color, so we're just gonna restart. But I just want to flatten my background so that I can, Jesus Christ. Oh, switched to Macedonian accidentally. There we go. What an interesting way that I've merged my layers here. Ugh, so messy. I feel like at some point I should start merging everything so that I'm not like going crazy. But it also feels too early to do that because it still feels like I'm experimenting with stuff and everything's just sort of on random layers, so. Well, it's not like anyone's gonna like see these layers at the end, so it don't matter. Okay. Oops. Is that adequately sort of flattened out? I still feel like there's insinuation of shapes here that I guess I don't really mind. It's underneath. Yeah, sure. Okay. That's okay. Okay. Now I can start doing my sketch. Is that centered? Let's see. centered enough. So this is my main circle. Oops. I'm gonna have this in green because it's temporary. Too close. Yeah, that's okay. I have like 3 different tabs open with like pocket watches. And their insides. And then would it be easier to just... Okay, I think it's too straightforward oriented. We're gonna skew it off to the side, I think. So that can come here-ish. Oops. Took him bald. I keep accidentally changing the language on my system, which makes none of my keyboard shortcuts work. Alright, where's the symmetry tool? Thank you, plant. I just really want to finish it, you know? I would just really like to finish it. That looks like a cog. Okay. Bless the symmetry tool, man. Where would I be without her? Okay, that's fair. Okay. Maybe I should have left this outline here now that I... I don't think I really want to put the screws in. I mean, maybe I should. I don't know. Like, does it fuck with the flow? Like, it just feels too small somehow. Maybe we should space them out more. Maybe we should do them with the circle tool so it doesn't look like doo-doo ass. Okay, now this part is what I'm a bit concerned about. This little inner part. Because, okay, we have this exterior ring. And then, so that extends out a bit. And then another interior, which reaches up there. My brain is not big enough for this. You know what I mean? That goes underneath. That seems good enough. Alright, let's make it into a clean sketch. Let's reset my ruler. I'll actually make this just a bit smaller. Do I want to work in then go out? No, I think I should just stay making a sketch first and then bowling. Okay. Maybe I should do the sketch also a more obnoxious color, like that green. Except I can't use green. Maybe I'll use a blue. How does that look? Oof. A little hard to see. Red? I don't like red. And black is too. Or maybe yellow. Yeah, I think we can work with yellow. I might have to make the circle even smaller. No, but that one's pretty extended, high up. Ooh. Why does the inside of a pocket watch have to look like that? You know what I'm saying? Not the same layer? Oops. Continue downwards, so it's gonna swirl a little that way. Somehow I still feel like that exterior. What if I just shrink it, like manually? Will you have the correct center? Yes. Oh, wait. I didn't snatch that. This also feels wrong. Yeah, it's not. Alright, I just need to have, like, I need to have to? I need to stop gaslighting myself. Everything's fine. Everything is a-okay. Maybe we can stand to make the exterior ring thicker, just not larger. Oops. I was wondering why it stopped there. Okay. And now these parts do have a bit of a distance, so I'm not going to be shy about that. I wish I could have multiple rulers. Oh well. Thank you, Creative Dragon. Let's put this here, and then again. And now should I pull her in a little? Yeah, maybe she's touching that a little too. I say pull her in. We're still gonna do the fucking things on the outside, whatever. I'm crazy. Okay. I see my issue. No, I want them like more curved. Like that, like soft peaks. Well, actually, before we do any of this, let me... Am I smart? Am I being smart? Sort of. And now let's duplicate that and... Seems about right. And I think that's okay. Oops. Let's move that to there. Why am I doing this? I can just copy paste them. In the same manner that I was being smart about the other things. Oops. Now, do I like that shape is a question. Not really. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try something else. It's just that these ones are like, they don't... Oh, I guess... I see my issue. There's not space between them, and I'm like, oh, but they're all sort of soft peaks. Soft peaks with space. Alright, where's my circles? How do I feel about that? It's okay. Would I feel better if they were this? I do feel better. Damn, here's I was trying to be interesting and cool. Okay. Well, sometimes it's better to just be a bit boring and okay. I'm frowning? Why is this like that? I understand. Guys, I don't I don't understand symmetry. I don't know how to make my shit proper. What is that? Like, yeah, this is the half between those two, so why is everything bad for me? Okay. I'm understanding that my shit is not actually aligned. And that eyeballing it can only take you so far. This must be absolutely riveting, seeing a complete idiot try and figure out how to do this. Time to wing it. I tried winging it and then it failed so miserably for me. So this is me walking that back. This is me going, I was stupid and wrong. I'm sorry. I also wish the undo applied to this ruler. I wish many things about Painter's Eye. I wish in some aspects it was more like Clip, and in others I'm so glad that it's nothing like Clip. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? After all of this, I still think it looks bad. I can't figure out why. I think, okay. I think these points are fine, and what's actually the issue is that this isn't large enough. Okay, maybe I was onto something. Maybe I was being smart. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. Now let's small in this. Give that little thing. And now where's my 1, 2, is it 5? I think it's 5. Oh my gosh. I've got like 3 different keyboards. As in like language settings. And every time I accidentally like exit out of one, it stops me from like doing my keyboard shortcuts, and then I have to like cycle through all of them, and it's really annoying. Honestly, Creative Dragon, I'm the exact same. I sort of jump between a bunch of different things, different programs. Painter's Eye is the one that I use the most, just because she's my darling baby. Where is this? But yeah. I mean, I'm also sort of forced to, considering I sometimes have been known to do animation. So there's that. Oops. I didn't mean to go back on this one. I don't care how faint that circle is, it's gonna... Had this thing? Well, in total too long. Right now, about... How long have I been streaming? About 36 minutes. I just have a terrible relationship to how I view my art, which I'm working on, he. So it's fine. This one I only just need this. And that's okay. I don't think this looks terrible. I purposefully started this a while ago so I could get back into the habit of illustrating. I just haven't really done that because I've been busy doing other stuff. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna draw this because I have, like, lesser investment in it because I don't care as much about it because it's not like, oh, if I don't draw this good and nice, I will die type deal, you know what I mean? Where I have, like, investment in the way that it looks for personal reasons. But this one I'm more chill about, which tells you how unchill I am. But we're working on it. I keep forgetting I have to reset my, like, oh my god. Here I go again, switching my goddamn keyboard language. It's just like to resize stuff, which is my Shift-Alt, is also the thing that changes, like, my keyboard language. Which I use often, and sometimes it registers it, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what the, like, the internal, logic behind it is, but oh well. Okay, and I'm actually just gonna copy paste this, because these need to be the same size. Same size too, huh? Oops. Ooh, those guys are so big. Okay, hang on. You guys might need to be in small end. Yeah, taking breaks from sections, taking a break from a drawing, all of that stuff. It's all great and wonderful advice, and I agree with it. But sometimes I believe you also just have to power through it, because sometimes you're stupid. And I mean that for myself. I think sometimes it's like, if I don't do it, sort of letting the vices in my mind go, hee hee hee, we have won. And I'll just stubborn it out. That's just a perfect circle, so I don't know, but I like that shape. Okay. Man, creative jargon. It's like, it's hard, like, to basically try and convince yourself against sort of, I don't know, like a better judgment almost, where it's like, oh, I know my brain works in specific ways, and there is a way to trick it to, like, into behaving, basically. But then you're like, oh, but I know that I'm trying to trick myself, and therefore I'm not gonna allow myself to be tricked. And it's like, no. I was having a separate private conversation with a different part of my brain. I need you not to listen to that. You know? So I think the way I achieve that is I just go inner. It really is. It really is. I forget what it was for at this point. I want to say it was for like creating like a healthy habit of like stretching and exercising, because I won't lie, I just find it intensely boring. Like I just get bored. And then it's like, okay, I have to convince myself that no, this is actually super duper fun. And we should do it. We should do it. Oh my god, it's so much fun. Oh, look how much fun I'm having doing this. It almost feels like convincing, like when you're trying to convince like a small child that like everything is either fine or like to eat their vegetables or whatever, and you're like, no, oh, look how much fun we're having here doing this totally fun activity. Like we're having so much fun. Okay. Man. Been there. But you know what, maybe it's... I think things are so hard. That's all. I know, not very controversial. I think everything is so hard, and what's that one, like, what's that one Tumblr post that's like, sometimes you have to be a little mentally ill to get better? And like the example given was like, yeah, if you believe fucking Naruto will be like proud of you for brushing your teeth or what have you, then fuck it. And then, I don't know, they said something that's in the show, I can't remember. Not the biggest Naruto head. But sometimes it feels like that sort of advice it's so real. Especially when it comes to things like this, where being a little like crazy in the head about it is the better option than to just like completely ignore yourself. So if you have to like play stupid tricks with yourself to convince yourself to do stuff, then, you know, so be it. Fuck it, I'm just making this up at this point. Not fully making it up, but partially, you know? Ah, I can't. My pride, my ego, it shan't let me. I'm seeing a cog here and some other configurations. What if I also put a cool little cog there? She's like buried underneath a bunch of stuff, but... Fortunately, for me, a lot of my, I guess, fuel to do stuff or like to get really good at art and to like put effort into things, especially nowadays, is that I have a really big ego. Where it feels like, oh, I'm kind of a little full of myself. And if I can't justify that, that's gonna be really embarrassing. Because there's nothing more embarrassing than someone with a massive ego who is bad at the stuff that they do. You know? Like, that's really embarrassing. So I can't be that. I can't be embarrassing with the ego that I want to have. So I need to justify it by getting really good. You know? Let's bring up that ruler. Oh, you know what I never set up? My little guy. I've been here without my little guy this whole time. That's crazy. Here I am. Oh my goodness. I completely forgot to put myself in the scene. Oopsie. Well, it's just a passive little cute thing on the side. I don't think it's that that important. But I like it! I like it! I think it's cute. There's some shenanigans here going on. Something like this. Maybe I should add some more lines, some more symmetries. Let's try 17. That looks okay. I don't know what half of these things are. I'm not a clockmaker, and I have no real interest in the internal mechanisms of a pocket watch, other than, ooh, look pretty. Thank you. All hail little guy. I agree. Okay. I'm feeling less crazy about this clock, as in like less bad. Like less like I hate it, and more like I can live with this. I would love to add an outline there, so we're gonna do that again. How about work smarter, not harder, etc., etc. Can I just copy paste this and then shrinkity dinkity it? Not really. So, wait. Hang on. What if? Wait, this might be really ugly for a second. That's a bit too far. Hang on. Yeah, okay. Now Now we merge that. Now we merge that. And then we... Oof. Wait, she's ugly for 3 seconds. Hang on, hang on. I could have sworn I duplicated this. Wait, I'm stupid. In an attempt to be smart, I'm stupid. Hang on. Okay. Everything's fine now. And then we're gonna do... convert luminous to opacity. And then we're just gonna... We're just gonna... Look at me go. Is it a little wonky and ugly? Sure, but nothing a little rendering can't fix. I can't believe you hate me for no reason, Mouse. Okay, some stuff is happening. So guys, I just did a thing. Am I crazy? Me when I'm like, okay, what if I realigned everything? And fucked up my whole stuff. All this that I was just working on. What then? What of it? Would that look better? But wait. Can I grab this with it? What if I... And then... Can I move this like under them? Oof, not with much effort. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, would it look better? Shabloinked like that? Or even just like, just a little bit. Because then the thing is pointing towards the hand. But it is pointing towards her hand now, like more, like with more intent, question mark? Or is that too like leading off of the page? No, I think you're right. I think I just, okay. Yeah, I agree. I'm just gonna make it a bit bigger. Just a bit bigger. And then just a little. Just a little. Alright, now I have to move these stupid circles because I don't like their placement no more. See, the issue is that they're kind of close to each other on my reference. The other issue is I don't gaff. Guys, I don't gaff. Oh. think we should do this and then, hang on. Hang on. Oops. Actually, that should be in closer. Should be cutting that off. Then do you need to resize it that much? I'll go back. You have to go back. Okay. Go to Brazil. Okay. Okay. This clock is not looking the worst. I've regained sanity. Put on the Dark Souls font. I should have a Steam OBS thing where I can like click it and then it does the sanity restored thing. I think that'd be really funny, actually. God damn it. Yeah. Oh wait, this one should have been. Ah! This one should have been over yonder. You're too far. Oh. Okay, I think we can start rendering this stupid fucking clock now. Well, there's this part, but I kind of want to leave bits of it vague on purpose. Guys, it's on purpose, I swear. It's like artistic. Oh wait, shit. I forgot to do the cog here. Oh my god. Oh my Jordy. Why are you so big? Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh, I turned the symmetry off. Previously, when I used to only have like my Macedonian Cyrillic keyboard installed on my computer, I like my shortcuts would stop working, but only my like letter ones, because I don't know, they registered as like different symbols, blah blah blah. I don't know, I don't care. But now that I also have, I don't know what this keyword is called, but it helps me add like pinion tones. Now that one disables my numbers, so combined, they just freak up my size sideways, so that's awesome for me. Hi, Billy! Okay. Wait, what if these are like so much more goated than those other ones? This other one's just too... No. We shan't. We shan't. Simply put, we shan't be insane. What is this? I never erased this ugly... I thought this was on a... Oh my god. Oh my god. What am I doing? Oh, don't feel sad. It wasn't anything important. Okay, where's my clock? Where? That's my sketch. There she is. Oh. Okay. Now we can render. Now we can render. This is gonna remain as such. Now, should I make this dark and then blast this? No, I think I'm just gonna freaking, I'm gonna bool. That's what we're doing, we're booling. Like I said, I want it to be a little more hazy, a little more vague. Just because I don't want to over-render this part. Because that means I'll have to render the other parts. And I don't want to do that, so that's not happening. Turn that down. Now, I love this red. I think it's a bit intense. Maybe I'm gonna cool down this red and I choose like a near identical color. Like, okay. This type of red doesn't really appear much else. Like, there's gonna be these ones over here. Maybe I should make it... Should I make them blue? Why are you blue? 'Cause, you know, I feel like that takes away from my boy. Bring me my girls. I could. Let's try that. It's just that there's already a lot of browns and stuff here. So it sort of just blends in. But I suppose I could lighten up everything around it. Is that any better? Color-wise. Okay, I'm gonna go grab some water because I've run out. Ugh. I'm back. Yokely dokely. Okay. We might just have to re-approach these. Unfortunately, I don't have the lines for them. Aha! I have not watched it yet! I'm slacking so bad. Everyone keeps asking me. I am sorry. Ah, shit. I forgot this thing up here. I've seen a variety of reactions, let's say. You know that it makes me a little scared. but I've seen a very wide variety of reactions. Like an extreme wide variety of reactions. So there's that. Yeah, like, unfortunately, League has expansive lore. I fully don't doubt that. That's the thing. I've seen separate different oomphs who I trust, whose tastes I trust, have, like, separately, like, opposite reactions of, like, oh, I loved it so much, my particles, they've been rearranged. And then other oomphs be like, wow, this is so dog shit, but, well. But either way, I feel validated and vindicated. I don't doubt. I mean, even season 1, there was, like, not necessarily in, like, writing personality-wise, but, like, visually, there was, like, a lot of stuff that people pointed out was, like, weird about Mel. About, like, how her hair seemingly did not work the way that it was styled. And, like, a bunch of other stuff that, like, obviously, Black fans of the show were, like, pointing out. So it's not like the show, listen. Listen, it's not you know. I've seen very little because I've been going out of my way to avoid spoilers, I suppose. There is, like, one thing I know that happens because it's just League of Legends lore. And I used to be into League. So that's not avoidable. Oh, right, yeah, and, like, oh my god, it's been so long since I've freaking watched season 1. Yeah, stuff with her mom. There was just, like, you know, there were things even in season 1 that I saw people, find dissatisfaction with. So, listen, of course I was gonna show up for Vi and Caitlyn, okay? The only other thing that they could have gotten me with, like, super, super bad is Leona and Diana. And then somehow if they managed to make Varys normal. Also, there's genuine sadness in my heart that Arcane has spawned some new League players or reignited the passion of old League players. It makes me so sad. I used to play a lot when I was a teen. And boy, Christ Almighty, I have so many bad memories. But also like so much like I was an intense gamer. That truly League was not good for me. The games were long, the people were nasty. I would stay up like until the AMs the next day. Like I'd start playing at like, I don't know, like 11 p.m. at night and then stop around being or stop around playing around like 10 the next day. Like it was bad. Obviously this was like during the summer. Or stay up past my bedtime playing League of Legends. Ugh. Yeah, that shit was bad. Like the only thing I'm glad about League getting more popular is that I think it's made the overall fandom less bad. Because there's like an actual diversity of people like within the community. I'm not talking about like on-screen stuff. I'm talking about like within the community, people who play it, people who are not crazy. I mean, how normal can a League fan be, you know? Joking. So that's the only positive I see from it gaining so much popularity, is that it's hopefully mellowed out for a lot of different groups of people. I assume that it's still not great. It's still like a fucking MOBA game, you know? Like it's a competitive game that a bunch of really toxic people love to play. I don't know what about League makes people turn into like actual rage goblins. Yeah, this red is too red, man. Let's try this. Oh, it makes it look really dusty. Like, it makes it look really dusty. It's the League disease. Also, like I haven't seen the new, like this season, so maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be proven, you know, one way or another. I feel like it was inevitable, or I say inevitable, like it was never going to be, I think, what some people were expecting at the start, which was like a genuine, thoughtful critique of military and like police systems. Because at the end of the day, like they still they're the cops in the games. There's so many of their voice lines that are like centered around that. I doubt they would have been able to really push the limits of that and like go super anti-cop, you know? So like at least in that regard, like I've seen some people like express, I don't know, disappointment, and I was like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been surprised, I don't know. You know? Like, like, that's a kind of like point of criticism that I'm, I guess, surprised that people were surprised about. Like, I don't think it's like the majority of people, but I definitely saw a few people complain about it, and I was like, you thought that they were gonna go against it? That's interesting. What led you to that belief? You know? Man, I played League when Vi was first released. I remember the start screen, her ugly ass splash art, her song, like the fucking pop song that they made for her would play, like on the start screen. When they released the special voice lines with Jinx. That feels like actual eons ago. Good lord. Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, I don't know the hearts and minds of the people at Fotish, whatever it's called, the animation company and the writers. But I doubt Riot would have let them like do anything with that, you know? Like it's Riot. Be trying 6 billion different ways to make this not so red and still failing, even though I love the way that the red looks, but it's too distracting. Frowns. Yeah. I totally agree, Billy. Thank you. Their name is Shikong. They're a clockwork sorcerer. I think she is. I think she's such a distraction. Harlot. Ah! But when I make her brown, I think she looks ugly. Oh. I can't win. Call me Brendan Lee Mulligan the way that I can't win. I want to make a joke, but I'm afraid only myself and Mouse would understand it, and I don't want to alienate anyone. It does? The red blends in? Because I still think she's a bit much in it. My little jester right now, I just love jesters. I wanted to rebrand, just because I was growing a little tired of my previous Sona. Like, I still like the fox getup, it's just that, you know, I was like, well, you know, whatever. And then one day in Animal Crossing, I don't like, for some reason, in video games, wow, Mouse, you're so mean to me, but like, I don't like playing myself in video games often, but in Animal Crossing I did, because I'm like, well, I don't know, the vibes weren't there for me to play like one of my OCs, so I was like, I'm just gonna play myself, it's fine. For like the rare occasion. And then I was like, well, I don't like seeing my face in this game, so I'm gonna put on like this little, I liked wearing things that obscured my face. And it just so happened to be like it was a gas mask initially, and then I tried drawing that and it was just too complex of a thing, like, to simplify or to look good from afar, and I was like, yeah. And then secondarily, I, like, my interest, what the freak? I keep forgetting to remove Nightbot, man. So sorry. Secondarily, I started to really get back into Knights, the video game character from Sega. Knight's Journey of Dreams, my love, my awesome video game that I love. And within Animal Crossing there was a jester hat, and then combination of the jester hat with like obscured face situation that I was having with like different masks and what have you, I was like, wait, I really like the way that this looks, so I just combined that with my fox Sona, and now I'm like a little jester with a hockey mask. But yeah, it just cause it's a combination of like some cosmetic items that I found in Animal Crossing and the fact that I became really obsessed with Knights again. I love Knights. Do you guys know what Knights is? I know Mouse knows what Knights is because I've spoken so much about Knights to my friends. But do you guys know what Knights is? Do you guys know what Knights is? Thank you, Creative Dragon. Yeah, it is definitely, I think, my favorite Sona design-wise. So forth. I think I literally went on a Knight's, like, tangent. Oh, that's my doggy. Stay. Ciao. I love Knights. It's a video game character by Mr. Sega, the company that also made Sonic. I keep forgetting I get the names of the games mixed up. It's like Knights Journey of Dreams and then Knights Journey into Dreams or something like that. Like, yeah, Journey of Dreams and then Knights Journey into Dreams. I don't know, they've got like very similar titles. Anyways, they wanted to make a almost like a new what is it called, like mascot character type situation, and they wanted to really toy around with this like flying mechanic that they had in mind, and like moving around in 3D space. Like they were trying to sort of ish like move away from some of the 2D stuff, even though like initially some early screenings or like tests of the game was done in 2D and like almost like a side scroller in the same way that Sonic is. And they ended up making Knights. It was not a very big success. Like it wasn't a total flop or failure, but it didn't hit the way that I think that they wanted it to. And fun little quirky little interesting fact is that Knights has a sibling named Riala. And Riala's design is very edgy emo and strikes a sort of resemblance to Shadow. But the thing is, Riala predates Shadow's design. So, you know, take that. Take that, Shadow. And why are we even saying take that, Shadow? I love Shadow. But anyways, also another thing that, like, Sonic and Knights are, in some fashion, like, beyond the fact that they're both, like, Sega properties, they have, like, a small part of them that's, like, super shared. Or at least, like, Knights' influence on certain Sonic games in the Sonic franchise, you know, a little bit with the fact that, like, I want to say that the person that designed Riala Knights also went ahead and, like, either had a hand in designing Shadow or did a lot of design for Sonic, as in like Sonic the property, not just Sonic the guy, because you know he already existed. And in the original Knights game, like they had like basically like a DLC that was like a Christmas version thing. Like it was like a separate game, but not really. Or maybe it was in the original game. Point is, like that's where a 3D Sonic was first featured. It was in the Knights game. Like the first ever like 3D Sonic, because up until then he was just like a 2D side scroller. And the Chow system that's in, I want to say Sonic 1 and 2? Question mark? I don't know much about Sonic, don't ask me. But the Chow system is sort of loosely based on the Knightopian system first implemented in Knights. So, like, they have, like, a lot of, like, history there. And there's even some chows that you can make that, like, the Chaos chows, I want to say, like, the good and evil versions of them, like, when you max them out in, like, speed or something, they make chows that strike, like, a resemblance to both Knights and Riala. But anyway, that's my little info dump on Knights. I love Knights. Knights rules. Don't look at the jank of the game. Just enjoy it. This clock is not turning out the worst. It's not the worst. And that's okay. There's part of me that wants to add like little sparkles, but I shan't. No whimsy allowed. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna color in the other circles a little bit red. And then assess the situation. The issues, I like their intensity. But I don't like their color. But I don't like them brown. Okay. Maybe it's... okay. Me when I'm copium. Maybe it's the blue in this that's throwing me off. Maybe it needs to be like a more green blue. Okay, you know what? That actually did make me feel better. Let's try turquoise. Ugh. No, that's too blue. I need more of a... Also, Knights is like canonically a little freak in every regard. And also like their presentation doesn't change at all, but like the way that their gender changes depending on who they're interfacing with. Honestly, I would love to see Knights again in... Oh my gosh, my friend who's really into Sonic, he sent me this... Oh no, I sent him, because I was like watching like a Sonic interview thing, randomly. Or did he send... The point is, we shared it to each other. And it was... I think the current director of the Sonic games. I want to say this was about... No, I think he probably sent it to me. Anyways, doesn't matter. I think it's the current director of the Sonic games, like the Frontiers or what have you, or someone who's involved with it. And someone asks him about a potential, like bringing back of Knights, and you know what his thoughts are on that. And the consensus was something along the lines of, oh, I would love to. Unfortunately, it's not in the cards right now. Like, I have no control over, like, you know, what projects are being taken on or what have you. But I would love a future in which I get to work on a Knights product again. But we'll see. And I literally fell to my knees. I fell to my knees. It was like, oh yes, Knights 2024 mentioned. Oh no, it's a rejection. I love Knights. I just think they're such an interesting character. And also they speak in a fake British accent. And they're dressed like an Italian jester. Knights is everything. We have to unify some of these. I know, Sega, please. Please. I'll buy your Knights game. Nostalgia's in. Nostalgia's hot. It's like everything right now. So feed into it, please. Darkstalkers? I've never heard of that. Let me look it up. Oh! Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why, like, the name completely blanked on me. Especially since there's quite a few characters that are, like, really popular from that series. Especially Morgan. Is that her name? Morgan? Something like that? Morgana? Something? The Bat Lady. Like, she's super uber popular. Put her back in her game. Also, can't deny though, Capcom knows how to make a fucking game, dude. Capcom has like so many good franchises. Morrigan. I said Morgan with no I, but I suppose it's not that audible. Morrigan, whatever. Point is, yeah, like she's super popular. People who have never played the game, like myself, know her. Just, like, she's just iconic. She's just iconic. I don't know if I want it lighter or not. That's crazy. We'll leave it like that for now. Yeah, Capcom knows how to make a freaking game, dude. My girlfriend and I were waiting for the new Monster Hunter series. Or Monster Hunter, I guess, World? I don't know what they're calling this, like, iteration of the games. But we're waiting for, like, Wilds to drop, basically. Also, yeah, their roster is really unparalleled. I say unparalleled. There's, you know, there's some good designs out there for, like, other video game characters. But I really do like the shape design and the look of a lot of the characters in Darkstalkers. Because, again, like, even though I've never played the game, like, I know a fair, like, bit of them, just obviously by looks alone. Would this be crazy? Would this be crazy? Would this be crazy? Wait, that kind of... Wait, that's kind of goated. Hang on. That kind of looks good. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think that looks kind of good. Wait, is that true? Wait, that's kind of cute. She's a nerd? She's a nerd loser? I love characters who are, like, nerdy in an unexpected way. Like, maybe not the most apt comparison, but the fact that, like, Miles Edgeworth from the Ace Attorney series is canonically, like a fanboy of the in-universe, like, Power Rangers, basically, and not just, like, a fanon thing that I thought people made up. Like, he's genuinely, like, a fanboy in, like, a really sort of nerdy way, is intensely, like, endearing to me. Oh, my music ended. Oops. Don't wanna subject you guys to my freaking audiobook. Whoops. Sure, let's do this one. Oops, I wanted to start from the start, please. There we go. Sexy nerds rise up! Okay, now, let's make a decision here. This darker color, maybe. Give it a fighting chance. Unfortunately, I just think it being, like, the dark background color looks really good. Not that these other colors are bad, but I feel like it offers a nice contrast that I think is maybe a bit needed here to help refocus the image. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. Okay. In theory, then this should also be like this. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see if that's even worth it. No, it's not. So, we're not gonna do that. And I want to give this the same treatment. Just because I sort of like that sort of, like, I don't know, buffed out look. Yeah, I agree, Dragon. I think it helps make them a bit more distinct, helps them stand out a little, helps add some color contrast that I think was necessary. Okay, let's zoom the freak out. Why was I so zoomed in? To be fair, anytime I am zoomed in, it's not the worst because I have like a popped out version that's just like the full image so that I can see what's going on. There we go. Ooh, too much. I used to have such bad drawing habits. Like, I never used to flip my canvas. I never used to zoom out. Like, or at least like I always forgot to zoom out. I guess I should specify. I'm supposed to be kind of stubborn, about changing my habits. I was like, I know what works best for me. I know what I'm comfortable with. Which is true. That sort of stuff is true. You shouldn't change behavior just because someone tells you to, you know? But I felt like there was so much early internet art advice that was kind of useless in the sense that... Sorry, I was thirsty. Thank you, Crook face? Croak? I don't know. Sorry. But, there was so much early internet advice that was like, oh, the do's and don'ts of art. Here's how to do, and here's how to not. Never do this. Why? Well, just don't. And then no further explanation. And it was just sort of left on that. And that's not a very useful or good way to teach or learn. Because as you can imagine, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be very adverse to in taking advice that just tells them to do something with no deeper explanation. And those who do take it with no deeper explanation don't understand why they're doing it and will oftentimes end up not doing it correctly. Like, for example, the old piece of advice that goes, never, ever shade with black. And it's like, why? Which, also, shading with black is a real and valid technique and something you can use and utilize in different, like, colors, like when you're shading different things and to obtain different effects. And also, it's not as much of, I guess, a faux pas in a lot of digital paintings, even though, like, it, like, was, like, shoveled around a lot, because, like, yes, black can make your images look muddy, but it just depends on the type of effect that you're going for and the type of tools that you use. What was that? Oh, thank you. Me when I don't know what notifications are. Wow, thank you. Sorry, that surprised me so much. But yeah, there's so much stuff that's like, oh, that's not very helpful, or like the one that I know that my friend hates a lot, and one that I agree is that one Tumblr post that's just like, how to draw hand elbow, draw that, and then this, and then make two, what was it, fucking this, and then the half between those, and then bada bing, bada boom. You'll always be able to get it by doing a half C's, and then that's where your elbow's at. And it's like, well, no. Well, no, that's not usually how, like, arms and what have you work. It can be helpful for some poses, or for, like, a quick shorthand sometimes, but it doesn't really teach you how to actually understand and figure out, you know, how to identify or find the elbow in a situation. And also, people have different proportions. Crazy enough, funny to think. But it's just like a lot of stuff like that where it's like, well, this is not really helpful. But for me, a lot of the egregious, particularly egregious stuff is a lot of color theory, painting, what have you. And by no means am I, like, particularly, like, an expert in the theory of painting and applying color. But I do utilize a lot of, like, I guess, like, non-conventional colors in the sense that, like, my style isn't necessarily realistic, lighting-wise. If you may have noticed by this, like, really fucking... this fucking clock, you know? I say clock, but like this interior of a clock, whatever. And there's a lot of parts of this drawing that do have black inputted in some capacity for shading. You know, particularly in these blues, because I think shading for blue is kind of hard. Can I get a my hard horse? Shading blue is hard. Fuck every other color. I can deal with them. You know, reds, fantastic. Greens, yeah, great. Purple, woo. Browns, yay. Blue, I don't like shading blue. Even though I constantly make blue people. I love blue. But, you know, I think it's sometimes hard to shade blue in a way that doesn't make it so blue. Which, in this case, I don't mind because, like, the subject is fine to be the way that they are. But there's other times when I'm trying to put my blue bitches in a lighting condition that's not blue, and I'm like, damn, you look like ass. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of, like, advice like that I hate. Yeah, there's a lot that I'm like, ooh, color's pretty. You know, maybe one of these days I'll do, like, a really gimmicky video. In my ever-growing list of videos I ought to make. Blue bitches, woo, yeah. I get, it's just they end up so blue. Like that's my issue. It's not that like shading blue is hard in the sense of like on a technical level. Like I know how to apply like shading to a blue object so that it can look proper and fine. It's just that like when I try and adjust that blue for different situations and conditions, it's like so hard for it to not be so intensely blue while still reading as sort of that. I know I sound crazy right now, but like there's something in my brain, okay? But anyways, I was saying I might I don't know, gather like a bunch of really stupid and old Tumblr like Tumblr art advices from the bygone era of, I don't know, the 2010s, and just like, I don't know, spend time debunking them. Like the science YouTubers, except less cool and less with super duper concrete theory. What is this? And why is this here? Sorry to be flipping around like 6 different tangents. You know what blue is like to me? It's like when you add a bit of like banana to like a milkshake or something. It's just like, it's so hard for it to not be overpowering the other flavors. Like you can in theory just add like a hint of it, but so more often than not it'll just be like, this is just banana. It's just banana. But you know, on the flip side, it's why I love making characters with blue skin. I just think one of the most goated like unnatural skin tones to have. Like I'm blue, double die. What's that other one? If I was green, I would die. Exactly. I'm technically over like my quote-unquote time of that I wanted to stream today, but I'm just gonna keep going until I gotta go, basically. Because I think I'm making some schmoovin' good progress, you know? Ooh, that's ugly. Me, I'm making good progress. Me immediately the fucking renders the most ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life. Maybe one of these days I'll also do a stream where I make assets for my live stream setup, because right now it's just this and then my intro stuff, like the setting up, blah blah blah, but I kind of want to be our back screen. And maybe some other stuff. I do also have to set up my like members channel stuff, because I have a bunch of emotes that I need to add in. And that I didn't finish drawing, because I think I only have like 3. Let's see. Let's open up the folder. Let's open the folder. Also, no one knows my insanity, because like after getting super into Knights, I made like I made basically an off-brand Knights OC. It's super disconnected from like Knights lore stuff. I just like, oh haha, funny jester. Where are my folders? What am I looking for? YouTubing it. Yeah. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think I only have 3 right now. Is this one that's like, oh my god, no. And then this one that's, I want to redraw because you know. And then my little heart one. So. So yeah, eventually I'll get around to just doing that. I have been having more fun. Have? Me? I'm like losing my ability to speak. So sorry, gang. But I have been having a better time streaming as of late. So that's nice. Oh, let's take my sweater off because I'm sweating. They really crank up the heat, but you know, it's winter, so it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Picking up what I'm putting down. Okay. Whew. Warm. Warm as hell. Do a little zoom out. I feel so much better about this background and this piece overall now that I've like sorted this out. Because before I was like, oh my god, I'm making so little progress. I'm taking forever. But I was, to be fair, to be frank, to be rude to myself. But now that I sorted this background out, I feel so much better. I keep telling myself I need to make cleaner sketches and setups so that like when I'm rendering there's not as much guesswork. And then you know what I proceed to not do? what I freaking freak myself over with? Not making good or nice sketches. Now let's go around and darken this a little to distinguish it. Maybe we can add a little blue. I love adding blue. Blue is in like a little accent, little flair, little je ne sais quoi. Great, fantastic. Sometimes I feel like I over-indulge how much blue I use. Now, what in the dickens is going on here? Okay. Maybe that blue is a bit intense. Woohoo. Okay. Okay. I I have to like stop myself actively from saying chat. Chat am like, is this good? Because I don't mean it in like a real sense of like chat. What's going on? It's just that it's becomes part of my lexicon at this point, and like I say it a lot and with my friends, especially when we're playing video games, and it's just, you know, it's bad because I have a real chat in front of me now, and I don't want to be like, chat. Am I cooking every 3 seconds? Also, I need to get in the habit of doing more studies before I jump into like a big thing like this. Because I was like, oh, I should do some metal studies before doing this. And then you know what I proceeded to not to do? Oh, I think it turned out okay. Like, I'm not mourning that fact, but it did take me a little longer than I would have liked to figure out how to do this metal stuff, and maybe it would have been like a bit less frustrating if I had just done studies beforehand. Like a good little boy. Especially like this bullshit right here. Like, ugh. I don't mind the way it looks now, and I might like lower the contrast a bit more to match the interior of the clock, or maybe it won't. We'll see. We'll see how the rest turns out. But man, it would have been nice if I didn't suck. Is all I can say on that. Ooh, 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 the inky blackness. It is so beautiful. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, you know, I'm really afraid that my drawings or whatever won't show up looking nice on other people's monitors. Because, you know, everyone perceives, like, everyone's monitors are different. You know, how the way that you see it on phone versus on your PC versus on, like, a laptop. People like different types of just monitors in general, like the actual PC monitors. Like, the other day, my friend, we were looking over my one of my girlfriend's drawings, and she was asking, oh, does anything need to change, blah blah blah, and we're like, no, we think this slays, rocks, it rules, and it did. Everyone should go follow her. What is it on Instagram? NIR4Z, that's the one. But our friend was like, oh, the colors on this are like on the gloves or whatever, like really strange and washed out and blah blah blah. And we were like, that's crazy because I don't agree, so on and so forth. And then for some reason her laptop was in like a power saving mode, and that dimmed like a lot of the contrast on like her screen. What the freak just happened there? Let me save. And then when she plugged it in, it started displaying the colors properly again, and then she was like, oh, what I was saying was kind of bullshit, because like that's really untrue, because for some reason my monitor is displaying the stuff now, and I can actually see like the nuance between like the colors and the shading and whatnot. Like, I know people are like worried about that fact, and for someone who's a generally extremely anxious person, you could not pay me to give a shit. You could not pay me to gaff. If my shit looks good, or if the colors are gonna appear a specific way in somebody's monitor or not, or if they're gonna understand that this is actually really funky fresh shenanigans that are happening. There's not a like a bit in my soul that I care, unless it's my friends. That's it. I'm so glad I'm like not afflicted by it at all, especially since I feel like I draw with a lot of intense colors, so if I cared, woof, I'd be like adjusting and course correcting my whole life. I think I want to add some of this blue into like these sort of implied transition areas. I understand. Oh. Okay. You can go back to being that. Yeah. Like, I'll color correct, obviously, that it looks good to me. To me. But I just couldn't care about anybody else's monitor, except, like, my own and my friends whom I ask advice from. But I only care about their monitors in a roundabout way of like, you're seeing my stuff, right? Can you give me advice? And then they're like, okay, here you go. And I'm like, thank you. In that exact tone of voice, with tears in my eyes, my lip quivering, I'm shaking and dying. So. Just a little glimpse into my reality. Jealous? I think you would be. I don't know what I'm doing here. This is my friend and I, person who was in here before Les Mouse, we wow, what the fuck is that? What? Who is she? Did I delete a layer somewhere along the way? What did I do? Anyways. My friend and I, the one that was in here earlier, we do this thing constantly where we like go into like a random nerd voice for no reason. And we do the like, actually, don't think that, or whatever, like very often, and I personally find it peak comedy hilarious. I don't know. Was that always there? That wasn't always there, right? Guess it doesn't matter, but I'm like, was that rendered a particular way? Was I just crazy this whole time? I'm watching my VOD back, hang on. No, I was just crazy, I just left that there. That's... Fail. Dude, cringe. Anyways. Hi, Lemon Fizz. Sorry, I was just having a freaking, like, a moment there. But hello. Yeah, sure, YouTube notifs aren't great. That's all. That's why everyone's like, hey, subscribe and click the bell. Because, is this like too far in the past now for it to be remembered? Where, like, YouTube changed its, like, format and everything, and now when people are like, subscribe and click the bell, that, like, specifically, like, spawned out of, the notifications being abso-fruitly fucked up and basically, like, nobody's notifications working unless you specifically use their feature, because even if you were subscribed to somebody, you wouldn't get notifications unless you click the bell. You know? And I'm like, do people think that's just, like, part of the obnoxious game now? Which I'm sure there are people who do, and who, like, maybe newer people who are into the YouTube game, who do it because everyone else does it, you know, it's part of the meta, it's part of asking people to like, subscribe, etc. But it was because YouTube shit was so fucking broken, and I guess continues to be fucking broken. So isn't that just interesting? Isn't that squirkly? Also, yeah, Creative Dragon, like, I, not only, like, it's not that I, like, it's not just the fact, like, oh, I don't trust my own eyeballs, but sometimes you need, like, a different perspective. Someone who did not do all of the strokes that you did and are dissatisfied with it. Because, like, there is, you know, the, step back from it. You know, step back from it, and come look at it again, because that's basically like you forgetting all of the flaws of the minutia of the flaws that like you are perceiving as you're drawing it, right? But that can only do so much for you. So like it's really good to have additional people, especially people who do art and know like how to critique and give advice and whatnot, but even then, just people who have eyes, lol. It's always nice to get their perspective on it, because it's going to ultimately be different from yours, who will never be detached from it in a complete sense. Because you drew the thing. Also very common YouTube L, like, you know, like it's not, this ain't new. Also, I feel like it's super obnoxious that, like, I will go into, like, random voices and accents, but you guys are just gonna have to deal with that, because that's how I speak even my daily. My daily. Okay, I'm a less hater. Let's call it that. I'm less of a hater on these red orbulars than I was previously. I have no idea what they are, but I've seen them in a few of these clock thingies, and obviously like they have different shapes, blah blah blah. I'm not getting that like that jiggy with it, but I just thought that's cute. I'll do that. No, not technically. So, I wonder if I can pull up an older version of, this. I'll walk you through my process here. Okay, that's not for the colors. Let me see, can I get, okay. Perfect. Perfect. Let's make a new little canvas here. Let's shrinkity dink that. Ignore that there's no lines. Oh my god. So, initially, I laid down basically like a little gold thing, right? I did sort of use a hue variation brush to add like slight variations like this. Then I hopped into Photoshop. I added like a gradient map on it to just like blast it, and then I added, you see like this slight swirly, or rather I added a gradient map on this swirly texture that I got from the internet, or maybe a texture pack that I bought. It was just like a black and white one, and then I added like colors on top of it. And then once I have those colors down, basically, as you can see here, it's just like, it is a literal spew of colors. It is just a lot of adjustment layers, a lot of like, it's just like a lot of messing around until you get this very almost like an oil spill type situation. And then with just like my painting brush that I have, which is just this, it's a solid brush with no blending. Like this is 0 amount blending. Like it doesn't pick up any other colors. It's just basically like a really, really dry brush. And then it's a game of constantly color picking, which I have my color pick set to Alt, just because it's easy. It's like near my other shortcuts. And then just picking up Alt, and then laying down small individual strokes, and then keeping color where I like it. Like for example, I really like this golden strip, so I'm not gonna take any of that. I'm just going to sort of render around it and continuously pick up the colors that I like, see that like, oh, I like the way that this flows into here, so we're gonna keep that there. And it's basically about finding ways to both preserve and transform the underlayer that you're working with. And then obviously I have like the forethought of like, okay, this is a specific texture, I'm trying to get like a specific effect out of it, and so on and so forth. And then you're just color picking to hell and back with the base that you have underneath. But yeah, that's the general process for that. And you can see it even here of like, oh, I've put down like some really large strokes, and then I'm like, okay, that's too much. We dial it back a little bit, we bring back the underneath color. But like I said, yeah, it's just like a balance of preserving and transforming the underlayer that you're working with to get the effects that you want. So hopefully, you know, that sort of explains it. Like I do have a color changing brush that I like to work with sometimes, but not in this instance. Not in this instance. Yeah, I love underpainting. That's another thing that pisses me off. Sometimes when I see like art tutorials online with people who are digital painters. Because here's the thing, I too am a digital painter. Unlike my wonderful partner who is a trained studio painter. Or at least like went to college for it and stuff, all that. I mean, she does mostly digital now, but you know, she knows about like mediums and what have you. And you know, underpainting is a super like even though like you can obviously apply it in digital, blah blah blah. Before there was digital, it was traditional. I know, crazy, groundbreaking. But the way in which people often go about or describe underpainting really annoys me, because it's with it almost feels like counterintuitive or like useless sometimes. I'm like, you might as well not underpaint at that point. Like, you're in digital, there is no need to build up color to get a specific color, like to get a specific flat color basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you've put down a red and then you've gone with the world's most opaque solid brush and just scribbled on top of it again and said, well, since there's color underneath, it's gonna appear. And it's like, no, you've just erased it. Or people who will try and claim that like only specific types of underpaints will work, and that like others are not good, or like this and yada yada yada. I'm just like, sorry, I'm smarter than you and you're wrong. Quite simply put, you're wrong. There's so like underpainting is a technique in which you can approach in many different fashions and ways. I won't call out the specific artist because I don't know their username. I've never followed them in my life. And I've forgotten everything about the whole like video at this point. But it was someone who was like, how I get like more lively or like more interesting skin tones, and like they use that one, you know, that one image that's like, I want to say Statue of David or like something, and then it's got like different zones where it's like this and then yada yada yada, and then you know what, hang on, I think I have that image saved because it's a good image, but the way in which they applied it to their own art and then described it sort of as underpainting, and it just like it lost its effect somewhere along the way. I frowned deeply because I love underpainting. Where's my artboard? Where is my artboard? Let me introduce you to some things. Not the NCT. Get out of my head. Should be under head or rendering. In fold body face. Is it under rendering? It's not under rendering. Tragedy. Absolute tragedy. I know I have this image somewhere. I swear. On the moon and the stars in the sky. And I swear. Am I stupid? Where has this gone? If I look it up with like the world's most worst SEO words of my life. And also Google's worse now. Google's so much worse. Here it is. Oh, I found it. Spider-Man, I found it. Spider-Man. This one. They were using this one, which is like a really like famous question mark one. Again, I don't mind this. I think this is fine and this is great. It's great. It's fine. You know. But I remember that specifically sparked like so much underpainting discourse on the timeline by people who clearly did not do painting, or even digital painting for that matter. Again, you know, this is me getting on my high horse as someone who only does digital painting, does not do traditional painting. But it's like, okay, it's everyone having this discourse and being like, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. We're like so many people with art styles in which it's like, okay, but you don't paint. Which is not to say that your art style is like bad or anything. It's just that like you're inserting yourself or trying to give advice on a technique that clearly you don't apply in your own work, and you don't practice. Like, you don't practice what you preach, basically, because your style is just not that. Like, it's different, and that's, you know, that's fine, sort of. It's not like it's not like a passing judgment on like, oh, you don't do underpainting. You're like a bad artist. Like, you should give up. Like, just give up. It's more just that, like, okay, like, you're clearly talking out of your ass, you know? Very clearly. Hello, Frogzy. But that's art discourse for you online every single day. You know? Where it's like, and like, even, oh my god. Am I gonna like date, like, I I'm about to do something I hate. I hate when people are like, oh my god, I'm really gonna show my age with this one. But I feel like I'm really gonna show my age with this one. Does anyone here remember or know Sav Draws? Am I crazy and old? Or am I still cool and hip? Or it's not even, am I still cool and hip? My guilty pleasure, back in the old day, you see, back when YouTube was still a little, like, it wasn't new, because I wasn't there from, like, 2006, hello, I was 6 years old, but it was, like, the early 2010s. Oof, seeing a yes and a who, both of those answers make me smile, because, like, it's validating both of my, like, situations right now, where it's like, I want to talk about her, one, or I don't even know if she goes by she, her, so I guess I'll just they, them, but anyways. But first of all, my guilty pleasure back in the day, was watching random DeviantArt dramas. I want you to answer honestly, really honestly. But back in the day, I used to love watching niche DeviantArt drama videos. I'm talking like these videos had like 100 views max, and that was like, ooh guys, this is breached containment, and it was like really. I miss those days, because I wasn't connected to any of this drama. This was just like random people on DeviantArt, clearly kids who were making call-out videos on like really inconsequential stuff, but since they're kids, like younger than me, and I was like 13 at the time, and it's like 9-year-olds making videos being like, this person clearly is doing style theft to me, and it's like, guys, you all use bases. You use DeviantArt bases. I loved this. Like, it was my fave. But that still spawned like a art commentary scene. And you know, like the Solar Sands is also like from this era. And like from these people. But Sav Draws was one of these individuals who was like, I guess, forefront and center of like the I'm gonna make really stupid like art critique videos. Like they were like the champion, the paragon of this movement, basically. Movement, what am I saying? Thank you, Frogzy. But they gave the dumbest criticisms. There's one that has stuck with me to this fucking day. There's one that is absolutely stuck with me to this goddamn day, which is, what they were arguing that like, oh, people, mind you, I'm pretty sure Sav was older in the sense that I think they were either an older teen or in their 20s when they were doing this shit, criticizing other tweens and teens for their like cringy DeviantArt OCs, which like super low stakes, who fucking gives a shit, right? And like there was this one video and criticism that went, it's so unrealistic and so clearly you're making a Mary Sue when you make a character with, let's say, pink hair. Pink hair is not a naturally occurring hair color. It's fine if you want to like make your character, I don't know, pull aside their best friend and be like, hey, I actually secretly dye my hair pink and that's why it's pink, but tell everyone else it's natural, because then you're telling a story, then you're expressing like something interesting about your character instead of like, and it's like, girl, if I say my world is the exact same as ours, except that pink hair is one of the natural colors, then that's how it's gonna fucking be. What a dumbass piece of criticism, especially because this was applied to fantasy worlds. My brother in Christ, people can polymorph someone else into a fucking sheep. I think pink hair color is the least of our goddamn problems. Like, you know what I mean? But it was like things like that. I have no idea where I was starting to go with this tangent or like where this began. I'm just now ranting about Sapjaws. I don't even know what they're doing. I don't even know if like they're still active. But this is me hounding on their previous content. Do the Mary Sue discourses. But I guess I'll tie it back into what I was saying previously, which is like there was so much of like people criticizing other people online that clearly did not A, practice what they preach, or 2, even go here, bitch. You don't make you don't write stories. You are not a writer. Like, I think this is a complete separate tangent that I might get to in this stream. Me when I'm an absolutely a freaking yapper. Sorry, guys. People who draw, and especially some webtoon bitches need to fucking jot this down. Just because you can draw and you think you can string together a comic does not mean you can write. Writing is a separate skill from drawing, and also writing is a separate skill from being able to tell a story. Now, you might think, but Zach, if you can write, clearly you can tell a story. Bitch. Sometimes someone is so goated at writing but so bad at direction and some other aspects that are required to tell a story, that it's kind of baffling. Like, I was talking about this with my friend, Rocky Gloss Complex on Twitter, but how, like, we, in theory, really like George R.R.'s, like, writing style and some of, like, the drama that, like, he has. Especially because he had like a hand in like Elden Ring stuff. I don't like his ideas though. I don't like his storytelling. When he has direction, like with Elden Ring, that bitch can fucking write. That bitch can fucking write. You know, like there's lots of different parts to this that's like yada yada. Anyway, my point is, Sav, to my knowledge, or at least at the time, was not someone who was a writer. Was not someone who was very like known for their characters, their character design. Don't even get me started on like the fact that so many people thought that they had the authority to critique character design when they themselves either weren't a character designer, character director, like character design director is what I'm saying. And they were just like talking out their ass ad nauseum about like shit that they just like, again, it was just so frustrating because it's like, you don't go here and you don't even have any background in this shit, so what are you doing here critiquing other people for shit that you have no fucking clue about? I think this is where I was going with this, but it's like, I feel like that's the same when people like did the whole discourse about underpainting on Twitter, or at least in like my very insular like circle of people that I was seeing like engage with that stuff, where I was like, guys, I know it's really fun to like dog on people, but why are we taking anything these people say seriously? They don't even paint. Quite simply put, they don't even paint. They got some cute chibis with like some line art that's like a bit hazy, but these bitches don't paint. So why are we engaging in a discourse, in a discussion about a painting technique with bitches who don't paint? What is going on? And not only bitches who don't paint, bitches who don't utilize underpainting as a technique within their fucking drawings. God damn. Like, everyone thinks that they, just because they have a platform, that they should, that like they have the authority to be able to speak on anything. And that's not true. That's not true. We need to humble ourselves a little, because you won't see me making a video about finance. I don't know anything about finance. You won't see me making a video on how to paint realistic backgrounds, because I don't paint realistic backgrounds. I don't know the first thing about perspective. Okay? Okay? So, let's not be so quick to be emboldened to just talk out of our ass all the freaking time. All the freaking time. Which, I'm gonna start talking out of my ass all the freaking time now. But no, one thing, but it's my soapbox. No, Lemon you're so true. You're so true. Something that my friends and I adore to do is read really bad webtoon comics, and specifically the popular ones. Like, there's so many popular webtoons that are straight up dog shit in every fashion. And the worst part is, even if the art stayed exactly the same, which there's 2 webtoons that we're currently reading, or I guess 1, because the other went on forever hiatus. I'm trying to be vague because I don't want to be like mean to people who are actively posting, but maybe I will be mean at some point in my life, just not right now, you know? Even if the art stayed exactly the same, which is dog shit, you know? If the writing was good, it would be forgivable. I don't mind looking at something that is visually bad, if the writing is good, if I'm reading something like a webtoon, right? Because, I don't know, sometimes it's like, if I read something that's really beautiful, but boring as shit, there's only so far the visuals can take me. Like, it just depends on, like, what I'm trying to get out of it, basically, right? But, like, 9 times out of 10, if your writing is really good, I will stick around, even if I don't like the art style. Granted, there are exceptions to this rule. I am a Ruby fan. I didn't like neither the way it looks nor the way that it is written. And yet I love it with no irony in my heart or like hate love. I just straight up love the thing. And there's aspects of it that I hate, and I do think that it's poorly written, and I wouldn't recommend anyone watch it. But unfortunately, I do love it. The point is, you know, we can all be a little bit of hypocritical sometimes. That's okay. You know, we can all have our contradictions. That's okay. But my point is, there's so many like of these webtoons where I'm like, girl, you are not a comic artist. You did not think about your fucking plot. Like, girl, please. Ruby, I could make 6 different video fucking essays on Ruby and why it's bad, but also actually no, hear me out. But no, actually don't hear me out at all. It's really bad. But wait, there's a few concepts in there that are actually really good. No, but it's not, at the end of the day, it's not good if I have to inject meaning into it that I'm sure the writers weren't thinking about. But maybe it's really good. And that's the full title. That's the full title. And then it's me wafting about for like 6 hours while I like go on like 6 different Ruby rants. Yes, exactly, the OG Mob Psycho, where it's like, oh my god, it's literally so fucking well written that it, like, obviously, like, you know, it gained so much popularity because it's literally, it's, like, it's so well written. I still need to watch the anime. Anyways. But, like, there's so many people on here, on Webtoons, on the Webbed of Toons, that don't know how to write, don't know how to draw. That's honestly the last thing. That's the last thing. Not knowing how to draw is fine. Not knowing how to fucking panel or bubble, now that's goddamn egregious. How are you trying to be a web comic artist and your ass doesn't know how to panel, doesn't know how to bubble? Not being able to draw, you're fine. You're good. Honestly, it could be goddamn stick figures. I would not give a shit. How do you not know how to goddamn panel or bubble your goddamn fucking comic? Embarrassing. Get off the fucking website. You should be embarrassed. How is this on the top goddamn page and one of the most popular webtoons? I'm thinking of a very specific one, and I hate the person that makes it. And maybe when it's done, I'll get up on my fucking little soap opera box and I'll be like, this is a good old-fashioned call-out post to blank artist of blank fame. And this is why their shit is dog shit and I hate it. But for now, I shan't say anything. I love comics. I'm currently prepping a comic. Also, one thing, I'm prepping my comic with the intent that one day I'm going to print it. Constructing panels and pacing and flow for a traditional comic that is going to be side by side versus one of like traditional internet web comics which are scrolling, two very different art forms. You can in theory make one that is more or less universal-ish, but oftentimes people don't plan out their webtoon with the thought in mind that people are going to be scrolling down into the next panel. There's a lot of potential here. I think webtoons are the best format for horror because while having like a jump scare in a traditional like printed comic is fine and good and great, and you can still manage to do that, there is nothing better than building up that sort of like sweating anticipation in a scrolling format comic. Like, it is one of the best mediums for it. And people don't utilize it the way that they should. They don't know how to fucking format it. Oh my god, they don't. The thing is, I don't mind scrolling format. I actually quite like it. Like, I like paneling for it, sometimes. It's just that I don't think people understand that that's also a separate skill that they need to require, and by skill I mean the paneling part, right? Like, that's the skill that they need to acquire. And the second part of that equation is that they need to be thinking about the way in which this is going to be interacted with, which is the scroll format. And I just don't think people pay it much mind or really like study up basically on doing that. And like, I've every now and then I fall apart and I need you now tonight, so sorry. I'm like hopped up on my own juice right now, which is I love talking about stuff that I'm passionate about, like most people, I feel, but especially comics and webtoons, because I read a lot of bad ones. I don't read a lot of good ones, but I read a lot of bad ones. But the thing is, I'm an animator too. I animate. I'm kind of like, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, but like technically my profession is animation. Most of my professional jobs are in animation. A lot of the way that I approach paneling is with an animator's mind. I think that is the correct way to go about paneling, and not even specifically an animator's mind, but a storyboard artist's mind, in the way that you need to be able to apply visual consistency and to be able to move the camera through static images to portray to someone else, within this case as a storyboarder, to an animator, to a director, to express what you're trying to say. And comics and paneling in a very similar way is just an extension of that, with the different format of the panels, right? And I think every panelist worth their weight in salt should fucking take a storyboard class. I just think it's a really good way to get your brain thinking in sequential art, which is what, you know, comics are. Like, obviously you're not going to apply it one to one, but I think it's just a really, really good way to get your mind thinking in that space. But, what was I saying? There's, like, people on the web, on the online, who, there's, like, their webtoon is just, it's not even, like, it's not paneled for traditional formatting. It's not paneled for fucking webtoon goddamn scroll. It's not fucking paneled for anything. Like, it's just static fucking images there that are just, like, they mean nothing to me. There's no flow. There's no sense of direction. It doesn't help the fact that, like, most of them can't draw backgrounds. I mean, bitch, me too, you know? But there's also, like, a de-emphasis on knowing about the format that you're paneling in a lot of, like, videos on the subject. Because, like I said, I'm preparing a print comic. I'm going to be posting it online initially, but I'm not going to be posting it on something like Webtoons. If, like, or, like, any scrolling formatted, website. Mostly because I don't want to, and because I have the intention for print. So it wouldn't work out, you know? And there's such, like, but either way, like, I'll watch webtoon videos every now and then, out of curiosity, and because I just like to, I like to see what the girlies are talking about, you know? I don't want to be left out. And so much of it's like, yeah, make sure to thumb out your comic and, you know, like, plan up ahead and, like, jump into it. Where is the emphasis on the paneling? You are making a comic which is all about paneling and the writing, and you say nothing about it. It's strange. Very strange. It's just annoying because it's so much of the fucking medium. It's so much of, like, you can write and portray so much with the way that you choose to panel things and the way that you choose to, you know, pace the information. Pacing is another thing that I'm really, really passionate about, because I also, like, for example, I run a lot of TTRPG campaigns, and the main thing that's, like, super important to me in those is the sense of pacing. The sense of pacing in which my PCs receive information and the rate at which they're receiving it and the rate at which stuff is happening to them for them to interact with. Like, it's just, like, something I'm more... I guess, like, pedantic about, and something that I'm, like, super stressed over, where it's like some GMs are like, oh, like, sometimes I get stressed out because I feel like I can't plan out ahead enough for blah 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 blah, and I'm like, no, I need stuff to happen at my players in a way that feels great for them. I need them to not think about, like, the pace at which they're going. I need things to not slow down. I need to know when to initiate combat encounters. I need to know when to, like, ease off of them. I need to know, like, when it is appropriate to start just hounding them with information. I need to know how fast I should be, like, pushing them along. Pacing and the rate at which they receive information is so important to me. But I just think pacing, everyone should be obsessed with pacing. I know not everyone can be, and that's fine. That's fine. But if you're a fucking webtoon comic artist, at least learn fucking paneling. At least fucking learn paneling. God damn. That's my rant. Learn how to fucking panel. Anyway, yeah, that's my 2 cents. I went through, like, three different like things. The thing is, I think everyone should be a little bit of both, lemon fizz. Because, at least with, like, TTRPGs, right? There needs to be a level of wiggle room, so that your players feel like they have choices that matter. So your players feel like they exist in the world and can influence it. That's very important. But in order for them to feel like they exist in the world needs to be solid. It needs to be made of concrete. Or at least, like, the types of, like, campaigns that I run, for example. And I think the types that, like, people see online, where it's, like, super long scripted sort of type of stuff, your world needs to be concrete. It needs to be solid, because your players need to be able to stand on solid ground and make those decisions confidently. And you need to be able to basically adapt to those decisions, because they are intertwined with your world. They are part of the mixture that makes up your concrete that is hardening over time. And you need to accept that, basically. Like, it is a full mixture of both. And, you know, like, there are people who are like, railroads are so bad. No, bitch! You just don't know how to fucking build a goddamn railroad. You put your players in the train as the conductors, and you give them a choice whether to go left or right. People do want direction. They do want railroads to an extent. There is nothing worse than a directionless story that goes nowhere because it is too loose. We are here to make a story together. We have agreed to the rules. And everything else in between is a little, like, fuzzy, and there's a bit of wiggle room. But at the end of the day, we are here together doing this thing. Great, fantastic, you know? I just think it needs to be a bit of both. I think the overemphasis on, like, just be the cool DM that, like, lets loose. No, bitch, I'm uptight. I've got anxiety. I'm uptight. I'm high-strung, and I'm a control freak. That's why I'm a GM and never a player. But it's also, like, I think there needs to be less emphasis on be the cool GM, let your players do whatever they want, because, like, that's how they're gonna enjoy it the most. No. Know your friends, know the people that you're working with, set expectations, and then move forward. Not everyone wants to be let loose. Not every campaign is going to be uptight, super high dramatic stuff. Not every campaign is going to be really loosey-goosey. Like, it's just we gotta reframe the way we talk about things, is what I'm saying. Reframe the way that we give advice, and acknowledge that knowing storytelling is a big part of a lot of different mediums and things, and that it is a skill that people undervalue by not learning it, because they think that they can just do it, when that's not true. The thing is, like, Creative Dragon, I think making quote-unquote realistic things in a non-realistic world, the way that I phrase it is basically, how do I justify this? What is the justification for this? How can I make this work there? And is it important that the justification is ironed out? Like, for example, in my current campaign, Wishing on a Star, sorry, I love Wishing on a Star, it's like my favorite game. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff in it where it's really important that there's pop culture, that there's, like, really goofy fun stuff, that sets the tone for the other things. Like, it's extremely, like, referential in the sense that it's like, yeah, we have Walmart, but it's called, like, Mallmart or whatever. We've got Instagram, but it's called Instascroll. Things like that, or Hollow Scroll. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I remember this. I have a list of them, right? And celebrities exist, cameras exist, limousines exist, but we're still in a high fantasy thing. All of this is to set up the backdrop of the fact that there's a lot of themes within the campaign about consumerism, capitalism, depersonalization, and a bunch of other stuff, right? Like, that's an important backdrop, even though it's a silly thing. There are also animal people in the world, like tabaxis and, like, deer people and dog people and whatever the fuck, right? Those people can have babies with each other. How that works does not matter to the greater part of this campaign, the way that people are interacting with it, the way that I am presenting information to the people, to my players, and the way that core things in the world operate. That is such a secondary, stupid, bullshit cinema sins thing to have to think about in a campaign that is not about genetics or reproductive things or the way in which specific races are yada 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 yada, right? Like, that's extremely secondary to my main point. Not everything in the world that someone might have like a fucking stray thought about needs to be justified unless it serves your greater narrative and mood, you know? Like, my Wishing on a Star playlist is, some of it's kind of diegetic, some of it's not. Some of it's, like, music that, like, makes me think about Wishing on a Star and, like, makes me want to write for it. Some of it's really pop, like, just a lot of pop music. There's so much Britney, there's quite a few Rihannas in there, there's Mariah Carey, there's ABBA, there's Bonnie M, there's goddamn Katy Perry, there's everything you ever heard from the 2010s, because that's when I don't know, was starting to listen to music, because my brain started developing, and I started to get opinions, but it's like a lot of, like, stuff like that, because it makes sense for my world, in that fashion. I also just love making playlists. I have a few OC playlists that are, like, paced in a way that mirrors their character arcs. So, for example, in my Hideaki playlist, which is, like, one of my main OCs, it starts out, like, really gloomy. The middle section is a lot of, like, tense songs, either dealing with religious themes of self in a destructive manner, themes of self in a monstrous manner, and they're, like, more intense music from the buildup of, like, the slow realization that, like, shit's fucked, and then it crashes into, like, more soft rock, and then peters out into, like, more quote-unquote, like pop songs-ish, as he, like, finds quote-unquote self-acceptance, and also is in love. You know, like, I love me when I love pacing. Obviously, you don't need to pace your fucking playlist. That's just an insane thing that I like to do. But, you know, I do love pacing. I do love pacing. It's great and awesome. I think I hated the early YouTube stuff that, like, discouraged people from, like, making really self-indulgent stuff and really, like, goofy shit, you know? Where everything had to be, like, the epitome of fantasy or whatever, right? Make the MFer who's a goddamn wolf with rainbow wings and fucking raccoon emo hair. Just do it. Live your life and be happy. Live your life, be happy, and, like, be cringe and free, etc., etc. Like, my clown OC that I have, that I did because I love Night so much, I was like, I need one as well, is in, like, a super indulgent universe with, like, a super indulgent ship. And it's like I'm cringe, but I'm free. It's fully, like his whole story playlist format. I love it. I think it's so fun. There's also one for his mother, which is also about, like, her disillusionment from her situation, getting into a cult, losing self-identity, being betrayed, and then dying and having to say goodbye. Hers is worse than Hide's, unfortunately. Sorry, Soliel, my love. You exist in other AUs and universes where you don't die. and I'm so glad. But I'm cooking, I'm cringe. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely. And I think when people love something, and you can tell like they love something, it's always easy to like love it back. That's what I think. It's easy to love things back when someone, like, the person who's made it has made it with love. Or at least intense passion. I think I've made quite good progress on this, innit? I think I've made quite good progress on this. Would you look at that? But I think I ended my last stream this way as well. That's so funny. I'm so freaking sweaty, guys. It's so goddamn hot in my room. They crank up the heating so much in the winter. I'm dying. Anyways, honestly, I love yapping. I love talking. Maybe I should do more streams where I'm just like taking a topic and like we we tear it apart, we do stuff, yada yada yada. We have a cute little discussion. I love discussing, I love bouncing ideas off of other people. Obviously it's a little more self-contained here because there is delay in the live streamed, and I'm the one with the microphone. Sorry. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stop for now. We've been going for about three fruity hours, innit? I don't know why I'm so fruitful today. And by fruitful, I mean like, I don't know why I've really stuck onto this word. I say it all the time. I say absolutely all the time in my day-to-day. But I've just really, right now in this stream, I've absolutely like demolished saying it. But anyways, yes. Gonna stop for now. Thank you guys for joining me. It was a blast. And thank you for listening to me yap and draw. That's like, don't even worry about my drawing. It's fucking, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Just listen to my